Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Coach Sandi with Hmr Weight Management Services, and today I'm coming to you live from my backyard, although I don't know, I feel like I'm not alone here, Mr. Tiki behind me. But today I'm going to be talking about bringing along your Hmr foods while you're traveling. And I'm going to address the most frequently asked questions we get about how to do that. And I've got some great tools and tips up my sleeve to share with you. And I would just invite you to also comment below if you have any travel hacks that you use to take along Hmr foods with you when you travel. And then also, if you have a special scenario, a special traveling scenario that you have coming up, also post that in the comments, and maybe we can assist you on just how to, get the most out of taking your Hmr foods along with you to support you while you're traveling. Chances are you might hear some things that you can do on that trip, but you might even want to tell us where you're going. All right. Well, before we get started, I want to say I know I'm going to get some questions about this insulated bag that has Hmr on it. These are not for sale. I've had this for years, and it's just something I have. We no longer have them as something that you can get yourself, but I thought it was a good representation of a good bag to take along as a reminder of what my purpose is in taking Hmr foods along with me. It reminds me that it's important. So many people are going to be squeezing in travel between now and Labor Day. And it's just so easy to get into that vacation mindset when we are traveling. We tend to kind of throw caution to the wind and let go of routines, and only to return home to find the scale is not being kind, maybe even going up on the scale. So whether you're traveling or have plans to travel by plane, train, or automobiles, chances are there's something that you can plan to do so that you have what you need to continue with your healthy routines, even while you're going to and from your destination. Oh, hello. I see people joining us. Hey, Bernice. Hey, Lisa. Nancy. Good to see everybody on. All right. Well, if you're just joining us, we are going to be going over how to travel with Hmr foods. I'm going to give you lots of great tips. So you might want to get a piece of paper handy or something to take notes on. So I have put together some winning strategies that focus specifically on how to get in your Hmr foods while you're traveling, while you're on that plane, that train, or in your car. And I'm going to talk specifically about how to get in shakes, cereal, soup, pudding, entrees, bars. But if you need ideas with fruits and vegetables, I would just invite you to tune in to a Facebook Live event that Coach Sharon did last May 14th, or excuse me, a year ago, May 14th, 2018. Look for that video on our Facebook page, and it's got Sharon's got some great tips for getting in veggies and fruits, but I'm going to focus specifically on Hmr foods. So whether you're in phase 1 or phase 2, chances are you have something to take away and use if you're traveling. All right, so first, why bother? Why even try to problem solve getting in Hmr foods while you're traveling in the first place? I mean, isn't part of the fun of traveling eating all the foods? I mean, I've definitely fallen into that thinking and done that and come back with my weight up. And so I get it. But taking a break from routines with food can be sometimes a little bit of a disaster. I'm going to just challenge you to take a new approach the next time you travel, and just help you keep some routines in place. Maybe try something new, but try to avoid also that having to come back and recommit and regroup and restart. So hang on. We're going to talk about some tips in just a second. And like I said, if you're just joining us, talking about tips and tricks for taking Hmr foods along while you're traveling, if you've got some things that you do already that are helpful to you, please put them in the comments. And we're going to get going here and jump right in. Like I said, I've put together tips and tricks to support you continuing whether you're traveling by plane, train, or automobile to get in the HMR foods. And I can say, for me personally, I've done all of these tips and all of these tricks that I'm about to share with you. I've tried them. They're tried and true. And they've made all the difference for me coming back from a trip, having either maintained or even lost weight in some instances. All right, so let's start with air travel. And, how do you get in HMR foods? How do you get them past security? How do you get to your destination with them? And also, how do you use them in the airport and on the plane? So we're going to cover all of that. So I want to just start by saying, you're not going to be able to take everything with you in your carry-on. So consider packing, your HMR foods in your checked bag, or have products sent to your destination, wherever you're going. So they're there waiting for you. And make sure you have enough for your entire stay as well as your trip back home. So that's something to consider. You'll also want to have foods with you, of course. So for carry-on bags, I do want to mention that the TSA recommends placing all of your foods, your food items, in their own bin. So you put all your foods in your bin, in one bin, as you're going through airport security. And that way, you might not get your bag rifled through. You might get to your gate faster by getting through airport security a little bit faster. So there's one tip. Also, last summer, TSA instituted some new regulations around various powders and limiting how much you can bring aboard. A limit on how much powdered products you can bring in your carry-on on board. The amount of powdered substances allowed in carry-ons is 12 ounces. Well, the HMR 120 can is more than that. And in fact, powdered substance also includes talcum powder. So, you're kind of limited there with just 12 ounces or less. And so the HMR individual shake packets could be a great idea for taking some shakes aboard, getting through security with those. And there doesn't seem to be any issues with other HMR products. And as part of your preparation for travel, we highly recommend that you check the TSA website just to see the most up-to-date information about safety standards that they are going by at that current time when you're traveling. All right, so what to pack for air travel? So for HMR products, and by the way, I got it all in this little tiny bag. So for HMR products, let me just unpack this for you. I'm going to set it up here on my cooler, which I'll use later. So I'm just going to unpack for HMR products, taking them into the airport, using them on the plane. Of course, I've got packets of shakes. I've got 70 plus pudding. Don't laugh at my old 500 chicken soup. I have some coming in the new packets. Multigrain hot cereal. I've got my favorite go-to traveling entree, the turkey chili. I'm just going to set that up there where we can see it. And then my HMR bar right here. All right, so if I get a sweet tooth, I have a go-to if I need something more than the pudding. All right, so in addition to these foods, I've also got some supplies that really help me get in my foods. All right, so first off, an empty shaker bottle, and it has one of these, blender balls in it, so that I can take my packet of shakes and put water and my shake powder in here. And once I get past security, I can shake up a shake and drink it right there in the terminal or on the plane. And if you want to add ice, or if you don't have a blender bottle with a blender ball, you can use water and ice, and the ice will break up the shake powder. All right, so we've got our shaker bottle. It's a must-have. You can also do the same thing with a water bottle. Just, make sure you have room in your water bottle make room for not only the powder from your your shake powder, but also room to shake it. All right. All right. Next up for my supplies, I have a cup, and I usually and another cup, another cup, and I've got a spoon, and I've got a whisk. So what do I do with these? Oh, and I've got a cup with a lid. 3 types of cups. So they each have a purpose. So my cup with my spoon, I can make an instant pudding using the 70 plus and some water, just 2 to 3 ounces of water, stir it right up. I can't tell you how many puddings I have eaten on planes. It's been a lot. For your chicken soup, just get some hot water from a coffee kiosk or from a flight attendant. Chicken soup, water, whisk. Whisk is a must-have when I travel. I even make chicken soup in hotel rooms using the hot water from the coffee pot. And then last but not least, I always travel with a cup and a lid because I can make my hot multigrain cereal with some hot water and put the cereal in there, stir it up, put the lid on it, wait a few minutes for the water to be absorbed by the grains. The grains open up and soften, and it's ready to eat. So would you look at this? I counted up the calories with just these food items, around 660, I think it was. And I just can't imagine how many more calories I'd be eating if I didn't have this with me, especially in the terminal while I'm waiting on my plane. So this is great options for traveling by plane. All right. If you've got some other tips, please post them. I do want to mention this turkey chili. One time I was catching a plane in Texas somewhere. I think it might have been Houston. I'm not 100% sure, but had my turkey chili with me. And I dashed into Wendy's there in the airport, grabbed a baked potato, plain baked potato, salt and pepper, and got on the plane. I was in a hurry, rushed, sat down, thought I would eat the turkey chili over the baked potato. Once I got in the air, we sat on the tarmac for 2 hours. Before long, I was breaking out my turkey chili and pouring it over the potato, ate it, and I thought I might be self-conscious about that, but you know what? When I looked to my right and the person next to me was eating a big old hamburger, I wasn't self-conscious at all, actually. I was feeling pretty good about my choice. All right, so let's go on to traveling by train. So we've covered planes. Traveling by train for long distances really has some advantages. And I can tell you one of those is that, you're just not tempted by restaurants along the way like you are in a car. And you're kind of held hostage there with the food you've brought. But there is a cafe car, and I will tell you firsthand, there really isn't much in the cafe car worth spending your money on. But the nice thing about the cafe car is there's tables in there, and you can kind of spread out and have a meal, not worry about having to hold your food while you eat it. So that's a nice little perk about train travel. I travel by train quite often, several times a year, about a 5-hour trip, and I use these tricks all the time. So I can take a bigger bag on a train because there's no TSA to tell me what I can and can't take. So I can take with me a can of shakes, or maybe I put the powder in a smaller container. Oop, can you see that? Put that where you can see it. So I've got my can of shakes. I still use, the 70 plus for pudding, and my chicken soup, my cereal, same way I would prepare it in the plane. This time I get my hot water or my cold water from the cafe car if I don't bring my cold water along. All right, so that's how I'm getting in my shakes. Same way, I got another shaker bottle or water bottle I can use to shake up a shake. But also, thermos. Check out this thermos, 31 ounces. I can fit 2 shakes and fruit in this, and check this out. 27 hours it's kept cold. I'm preparing the night before. I'm making my shake, putting it in my thermos. It's ready to go. 2 shakes and a fruit on the train. See if I can squeeze that in there. Yeah. I can also get in a hot entree with a thermos, and this particular thermos keeps things hot up to 7 hours. 7 hours. Wow. And this one comes with its own spoon in the lid. So I put an entree and some vegetables in here, also prepared before I leave. So it's nice and hot. I have a hot meal on the train, and some other items I would just include along with what I took on the plane, you know, the whisk, the spoon, the cups and whatnot. I like to take along my own fruits and vegetables. Here's a pop top can of mandarin oranges, some apples, and then, you know, if I'm going to make that cereal, or if I want to flavor my shakes, I got these handy little guys at the 99-cent store. I can put syrup, sugar-free syrup, maple syrup, or salted caramel, my favorite, and add that to my shake or cereal. And even if I do bring salad along, I have an individual salad dressing, and of course a bar for when I have a sweet tooth. So lots of great tips here for getting in your foods while you're traveling by train. Of course, I have a train story. One time I was traveling, I got lucky. I got one of those seats that was at a table, and there were other passengers across from me sharing the table, and they got up to do something and they were gone a couple minutes. So I brought out my apples, and I think I had some carrots with me, and I had my shake. So I had my shake and my fruits and veggies, and they came back. And when they came back, they had a plate of ooey gooey nachos, a bag of chips. I think they had a burrito and a big cookie. They looked at their food, they looked at mine, and they said, I think next time I should bring my own food. It looks like I could probably eat a little healthier if I thought ahead. And so that was kind of funny. But I had no regrets about my meal. It was great. Taking a sip of water. All right. So we've covered planes, we've covered trains. We are on to automobiles, of course. So many of the tips I mentioned around train travel can also be applied to your car. And I will say that typically you can take more, of course, in a car. You have more room, more than, more in a car trip than you could on a plane or a train. So think about that. And in addition to what was in my train bag, I often bring a cooler, which I've kind of piled stuff on, but I can bring a cooler, and I've got a small one here. I'll try to hold it up without dropping too much. My little cooler. I can pack that full of fruits and vegetables, ice, cold shakes. I can even freeze a shake the night before, put it in my cooler, and as it's thawing, I've got a shake for later. So all of the tips from the train and the plane can apply to travel by car. Traveling by car definitely gives you the greatest degree of flexibility as far as bringing stuff with you so you can have it. It can also present the most temptations because of all the restaurants you pass, the temptation to stop and, just grab a quick bite. But if you've got your foods with you, that it's so much easier to stay out of fast food restaurants, or to just stick with, some low calorie foods that are going to keep you on track. If you need to heat up an entree, you can often stop at a convenience store or a truck stop to use their microwaves to heat up those entrees. So be sure you bring plenty with you. And if you do stop at a restaurant, let's say your traveling companions want to stop, that's okay. Bring your turkey chili, your chicken enchilada, your lentil stew, and throw it over a salad. Or for breakfast, order a fruit bowl and have a shake on the side, or a cereal prepared with hot water. So there's lots of different things you can do to stay on track, whether you're in the air, traveling by rail, or on the road. Now, no matter how you're traveling, I want to just have you consider using a recipe I love for Hmr Muffins, because you can get those on a plane without any trouble, and they pack easily. They're nice kind of, foods to just snack on or eat for breakfast. Hmr Muffins, I'm going to post the recipe in the comments. So you be watching for that in case that's something you want to try. Now, how much food you bring along on your trip will depend on, your use and how long you're going to be away. So something to consider is how much you're going to need, but always plan for the unexpected and have extra along. And then, you know, just thinking about all we've covered, traveling by plane, trains, and automobiles, I've just addressed the most commonly asked questions that we get. But you know what? You guys are the experts. You guys are the ones using the products while you're traveling as well. So what do you do? What do you do that's different? Or maybe there's a recipe you use that you want to share that helps you get in your HMR foods while you're traveling. And comment with any of your travel tips or your travel conundrums. We'll see how we can help you. And, you know, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. And it's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun traveling with you today. And I just wish you happy trails. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.